you've been so nice to tell us in the technical track. You're going to tell us the top 10 platforms and where they are. Because apart from, of course, Ethereum and Bitcoin, there's a whole bunch of other ones coming up, the blockchain 3.0 and Internet of Things. And we'd love to know from your perspective what you see as real platforms and when they will come to fruition. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? How do you see that market going from Bitcoin and Ethereum to other platforms?
Sure. So the technology is evolving incredibly quickly, and we might be looking at a completely different picture on June 7th. But as it is right now, there are kind of three groups of projects that are competing with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin was blockchain 1.0, and it's purely financial, and it doesn't have an advanced scripting language, so it can't do smart contracts. But it's intended for payments to be like a global payment thing system. Mm-hmm. So, and as it is, it works relatively okay. Ethereum introduced a generic blockchain that you can use for decentralized applications, but it has two missing components, which are Whisper and Swarm. So if we think of Ethereum as the world computer, Ethereum itself is the processor, Swarm is the hard drive, and Whisper is the chat engine, the network communication engine behind it all, so that components and nodes can talk to each other without sending transactions, without having to kind of commit it to the blockchain forever. And these two parts are missing before Ethereum can become the true world computer for decentralized internet.
And those are projects which they're working on.
Yes, those projects are being actively worked on, as well as the CPU part, so the EVM, the Ethereum part itself, is being upgraded continuously. Yeah. And then there's and Ethereum was kind of the blockchain 2.0 because it supported the smart stuff. It supported actual applications, not just monetary stuff. Yeah. And then there's the blockchain 3.0 projects, which all advertise themselves as Ethereum killers. But like Vitalik, the co-founder of Ethereum, said, that the only Ethereum killer is Ethereum Next. So Ethereum's next version is the only thing that can kill Ethereum's previous version, because Ethereum has this enormous ecosystem of developers and enthusiasts and users that other projects are going to have to defeat with a sledgehammer in order to gain an advantage. Because all the brain power is currently in Ethereum right now, the community brain power. Now there's projects like EOS, which has had its share of controversies about being kind of marketed in a weird way. If you saw John Oliver's episode on it, that was a very interesting takedown. But in essence, EOS recently launched their testnet, but it's not available to the public, so we don't know if it actually exists or if it's actually usable or useful. And I hope that's going to change by the time we talk about it on stage, because I would love to give it a try and take it for a spin and just give you my objective opinion on how it works, if it works, why it works.
So that would be nice. And then things like Neo, Cardano, or Cardano.
And then there's other things like these fall into the DAG category, which do away with the blockchain altogether, and they don't have the mining concept per se, but they actually use a mesh of nodes, which all of which kind of communicate just with the target node that they are sending transactions to. And sometimes they have to do a little bit of proof of work, so a little bit of mining. But this happens only on the computer using the node for a transaction. So for example, if I send an IOTA transaction to someone, my computer will do a bit of proof of work on my wallet installed and then send it, and that's the mined proof. But there's no incentives on running nodes, so you don't get the mining reward. And that's another problem in these systems. They work right now somewhat well, though most are very centralized. They have a limited number of nodes that do these validations. But once they grow to a sufficiently high number, we'll see how resistant they are to spam attacks, because they don't have this proof of work method of protection against spam, protection against double spending and corruption. So we'll see how they.
We can talk about that on June the 2nd. You don't have to tell everything now, so that will be. I mean, you love to educate, you love to talk, you love to show. And is there another blockchain 3.0 category with Cardano and a bunch of other ones?
There is this category of hash graph, which is a new recent project, but they are using some kind of a closed algorithm that's not exactly known to everyone. They're not exactly super public about the project, so I'll hesitate to talk about it until I've given it a more thorough look, if they kind of open up a bit more about it. And there's also the Mimblewimble project, which is a alternative Bitcoin blockchain with confidential transactions. They're actually launching their own Alpha 2 testnet very soon, and I hope we can test it by the time it's time for the conference. I'll talk about it.
So that will be a fantastic talk. We will have you then on June the 7th. Hey, and Bruno, can you tell me, what does your company do? Because I know you from your pump and dump investigations. I know you because you educate all the time. You're doing a great talk and speaking. But what do you do for a living?
We do blockchain. We do blockchain development. We do smart contract development. We do security auditing of smart contracts, and we do blockchain consulting mainly, with a bit of digital forensics on the side, where transactions need to be tracked down and so on, or demasked and so on and so forth. But mainly, we are in education, technical education, consulting, training people, and development and auditing of smart contracts.
Okay. And where do you do this kind of work?
We do this mainly in Croatia, but we consult all over Europe. Development is done from Croatia for foreign clients mainly.
Okay, wonderful. I'll see you in Amsterdam and Utrecht on June the 7th. Will be fun.
Will be fun. Thank you.